Okay, we're at the Vistabule Rally. It's a nice day for once here. This is great because it's been super cloudy, and I'm here with John. And John, do you want to tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how long you've had your trailer, and kind of how you got into this whole teardrop trailer thing?
Sure. My wife and I have had Kermit is the name of our trailer. We've had Kermit for about 3 years now, and when we were getting close to retirement, we wanted to see the country, and we wanted to do it easier than tent camping, and the Vistabule just stood out as a great product. So that's what we have. And nice thing about the Vistabule is it's great right out of the box. It's kind of a one-size-fits-all. It's got almost anything and everything you could want, but it's nice to be able to personalize it because not one size fits all. So it's good to be able to do stuff, and I like to make some modifications. So this is our galley here. It comes pretty much basic. They normally do just the counter. You can add on the stove and the sink and things. We had the stove. I broke my glass top to the stove, so instead of getting another glass top, I decided to get a cutting board instead.
I was wondering what that was on here, if that was a mod that you made, so but there's a reason behind it.
Yep, we did the cutting board, and I made the little risers, so it has a 1/2 inch gap so that the heat can get away, so it's not going to warp my board. And then, since I don't have a hinged glass door anymore, I got to do something with this. So I made a side table over here that we just pop our cutting board right on.
Very nice.
And now we've got another work center. I've got a cutting board right here, and I can work. So not only do I have the basic counter space that comes with it, but I've got a nice add-on board. And this I just take down real quick. Takes about 5 minutes to take it down, and I store it inside the trailer while we're traveling.
Yeah, it looks like this table is attached to the trailer. Is that,
yes,
is that correct?
There's a lot of companies that do this kind of thing. I just bought a little strip from Amazon. It's a 2-piece strip, aluminum strip that's interlocks. So the one is mounted onto the trailer and the other one's mounted onto the table. And then I just pop it right on, and then I put the legs underneath. And
what's this for right here that I see?
That's a homemade mod. This is it's a suction cup that they use for replacing glass windows and things. And so it works really good for here. Sometimes we'll spray a little water on it, but with the rain we had yesterday, that's not necessary. We just clamp it on and pop it closed. And then with our garbage, we just use plastic bags from the grocery store, and we'll just hook them right on here.
Ah, nice.
Like so. And if it's not a windy day, we're fine. If it's a windy day, we make sure we put some garbage in it first so it doesn't blow away on us. And then we've got our garbage right there handy. It's up out of the way. The little critters like squirrels and stuff, if we have it on the ground, aren't going to get into it. So it just makes life a little easier for us. And that again pops off and goes inside when we travel. So that's most of it there. I've done a couple little things that aren't the basic stuff. I took the paper towel holder that was in here originally out of there, and I put in a little shelf instead, and I put our bread keeper in here. So this bread keeper, again, I got this one on Amazon. It's just a cheapie, but it's an extendable. So as your bread loaf gets lower, you can save some space.
Very nice.
And then our shelf grows as the bread disappears. Oops. And then we put the paper towel up here.
Okay, there's where the paper towel holder went.
And I've had everybody tries putting them up here, and it seems like there's a problem with the paper unwinding. And somebody in our Vistabule group solved it, and I can't remember his name, Jerry something. But anyway, I stole this from him, so he takes credit for it, because this solves the problem when I have a little board here that's hinged. And so just with gravity, it stops the wind from blowing it, but you can pull off one at a time and tear it off, and now nothing's going anywhere. So it's a lot easier to grab your paper towel and have it to work with that way. So. And lots of nice storage spaces here, and the Vistabule usually, as always, we've got the refrigerator here.
You got the refrigerator, the Dometic fridge in there.
And then the drawer space over here, which is nice for having storage for everything you need.
And then you have this cutting board. They do this now.
Yeah, the cutting board, yep.
I never cut on here, do you?
I don't use that.
I don't want to mess it up.
And number one, it's also hard because when this drawer is closed, you can't open it.
That's right.
And it's kind of one of those design things that it's great as long as it's open, but if you're going to use the refrigerator, you're playing shuffleboard. And which is part of why I got the cutting board for here, because now I got a cutting board there, and it works easier. And I just did this. This is one of my new modifications. The standard with the company is they put a little hinged shelf here. And then you have silverware underneath in this space here. And I didn't like that because you have to keep opening, closing, and you can't put anything here because you can't open it then. So what I did is I just turned this summer into a drawer. So now we have silverware here.
Look at that.
And it's a lot easier to grab one-handed while we're cooking on the stove.
And then you have all this space up here
and
to
now
store
we
stuff.
can keep that as a permanent shelf space and store stuff.
And what do you got? Because this was pretty deep in the back before.
They designed this. Bert is a wine drinker, so he designs this for his wine bottles, which is great, but we don't drink wine. So I took the little wine holder things they had out, and I just measured the space.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And I bought these at Amazon, and it gives us a nice little pantry. We've got our breakfast cereal and our
That is a really neat idea.
There.
And do you have what?
And it's there.
Four of them in there?
Yeah, there's 4 of them in there. So you can put chips in, pretty much anything you want.
I like
and
that.
Keep it. So it uses up the space and keeps things going. Yeah, and I didn't have quite as much because I lost a little space with the silverware drawer here with having this here. So what I did is I decided to put a little spin-out drawer in here. So this guy just opens up, swings out, and then we've got the potato peeler and the other things that won't fit in the silverware drawer, and it's a nice, easy way to get to it. And I'm trying to get as many things up here because this is your work area.
Right.
And they've got the drawers here, which is nice, but with these drawers or with these shelves here, it doesn't always work good to be able to get in. And this way, it's much more of an easy access.
Now, John, what did you do right here? This looks different too.
I just added a piece of wood there because since I took out the glass stovetop, I didn't have a glass shield anymore for the electrical back here. Oops. So
that folds down.
So this just folds down for now. This is just kind of temporary is what I put in.
Okay.
And that way we can still access the power plugs and things. And I found out I got more storage space back there now. So that worked out nicely too.
Very nice. Very nice.
So, yeah.
And then, this is new too. I see that this light I'm not used to seeing.
Yeah.
And then what's
they
all
have
this
one
spice rack
They have one that comes basic, and I opted not to get it. So I just picked this up at Amazon, and I had to make my own attachment for it to get it going. But that way I've got my little light here so I can do it. And this one's a dimmable. It's just a cheap one you get at Amazon. And this, I just kind of designed this from scratch. So I'd have something to put spices and things, and you can put them up and down. And it's a work in progress, like everything tends to be in a trailer.
Now here's a problem you solve that I have is the sun always coming down.
When you get the sun, I just made these so you just pull this, and then you can pull them closed if you want to.
You put a little piece of wood up there with some screws.
Yeah, I just put a dowel rod to hold, and then the little wood to hold the dowel rod up.
And it looks really nice too.
Yeah, it's a cute look that way,
yes.
and it frames the window nicely with the drapes and things. So. Yeah.
And then how about this? What is this I see here? It's like a cork board.
That's just I wanted something that I could put pins in, so it's like a pin cork board. And I looked at different stuff. This is kind of a brick design. It's kind of a foam stuff, so it works pretty good. And I had that space, so I said I'm going to cut it out so we can keep notes, and I can put ornaments up there and things, and it works out really nice.
Now, how did you attach this to the wood in the back?
That one's just a stick-em. You just peel it back, and it sticks right on.
Okay.
The paper towel holder up here is usually that's the same thing, but some of them are stronger adhesive than others. This one I put up, and it fell down after a week. So what I did, because this is so thin, you can't drill anything into this or go right through the other side. So I cut a piece of this wood that's 1/4 inch thick, and I have this cavity, and it's fit right into the cavity there.
Okay, I see that.
And so I drilled that in and mounted it from the sides, and then now I can put a screw into the paper towel holder and hold it up there.
I like these a lot. Is this an Amazon purchase?
Yeah, it's another Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And I grabbed an Amazon clock.
Okay.
It's so nice to have a clock in the
wanted
kitchen.
to ask you about that. Yeah. How's that?
And that's just Velcroed up there, so I can pull it off if I need to. But it's a USB, so it goes down and plugs right into a USB here.
Okay, so your cord comes around here, plugs in the USB.
Just plugs right in, and I've got it. As long as I don't lose my power, which is hardly ever in the trailer, because it's always charging up.
Now, I noticed this also. Is this a different sink?
Yes. Yeah. Well, you get a trailer and it comes with basics, and then you start adding the extras, and they add up fast. So we got the stove and the propane, and we got the furnace, and the sink and stuff. I decided we're not going to get that as an option. Because number one, they come with a normal RV sink, 3-4 inches deep, and you can't put very much in it.
This is pretty deep.
And this I got at Amazon again. It's 9 inches deep, so we can, if we're having a long day, we finish eating, we can put our dirty dishes in the sink, and they cover up, and no harm done. And it's a nice storage space that way. And then what I did is, instead of having, they set these up, I think, with an 8 or 9 gallon tank, and then a pump, and then a gray tank. And so without that, what I did is I just put in a little 4-gallon thing from Amazon again. And then all you do is just drop a silicone tube into that. And you bring it up here, and then you can pull this out to get water somewhere else. But this is a little, $15. It's a USB rechargeable pump, and it's self-priming. So it's not real forceful, but it gives you enough water to do what you're doing.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And then I called the company up and said, because they can usually add these things on afterwards when you've got after product. And I asked Lily, I said, can I get just a gray water tank? And she said, yeah, sure, I'll ship you one. So I got one in a few days, and I climbed under and installed it in about a couple hours time and plumbed it over and got the pipes. And so now I have the same setup as most of the Vistabules, but I don't have to winterize because I don't have an electric pump that's going to have Freon and things in it. And all
you just pull that out, take out your jug, and you're good to go.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
And I like this. You were showing me this yesterday. You have a little toaster here.
Yeah, this is a 1-slice toaster. Just a cheapie. Yeah, but it works space-wise. It's so much better than the 2-slice. And they're cheap because you can see it's already started melting. But for the cost of them, when it wears out, I'll buy another one. So it's all good.
Now, you were telling me about these here. You make these. These are...
Oh, yeah. My daughter and I have a little craft business that we started up a few years ago. We kind of started a new product line. We make Christmas ornaments out of paperback books. And it's amazing how many tons of books wind up in landfills. So we started doing this. We designed the pattern, and then we cut them out of paperback books I cut them out with a scroll saw. And then we paint them, and then we open them, and then we add little extra things to make them look like the real thing. And then we've started selling them. We have a shop on Etsy, and we have our own website, and we've started doing craft shows. This year we're going around the country to different locations to do them. So,
and what I'll do, I will put John's website in the description.
Yeah, I can give you a link
so we can see how to get a hold of that if you're interested in some of those decorations.
That'd be great.
I will put that down in the description below, so take a look at that also. And then also, if we can get John to remember some of these things, I will, if he has some of the links, I'll put a link of some of the things that he bought Amazon.
Okay.
I know right away I'm going to add this to my trailer. I love this.
Yeah, it's a cute way for my wife and I, especially if you go off on a hike somewhere, you can put a note up, say left for a hike, especially when you're in locations where you don't have phone service. That's a great way to communicate, and it's good for making a list. If you run out of something, you can put it up there so you know what you're missing.
Now, I noticed you have one other thing on the side here that we didn't talk about.
That's my shoebox.
Box here, okay.
Yeah, everybody's been doing something like a shelf on this fender because otherwise it's kind of wasted space. And so I just made this out of plywood. It's a prototype, and it's designed to put the shoes in.
Just sits on the fender.
So, I can sit down on the door and take my shoes off and pop them in, and it protects them, as you can see, from the rain that we had last night. At this point, I just made it out of plywood, and I put a PVC top on it to protect a little bit. If I like it well enough, I'll probably make it out of aluminum or something else that's a little more durable.
Now, you're unique. Most people do not do these custom things with the trailer on their own. You obviously have a background, you're creative. How do you come up with these ideas, and what does someone do if they're not unique and creative like you?
That's kind of why we have the rally, so people can see what other people have done and get ideas. It's part of why we're here, is so I can get ideas from others, because only so much can come out of your own imagination. You have to get ideas. That's what's so nice with the internet nowadays, is you can get a lot of ideas that way. But for me, I can visualize. I see something and I see the possibility and the potential, and then I think about it a lot. Do some sketches and figure out what I can do, and then I jump in and I'll go through a few generations sometimes of things. Like this is the second generation on the table. Hopefully the third generation, when I go to making metal pieces, will be the final generation. and then we can go with it.
Well, maybe you have another business in behind you of just making mods for teardrop trailers.
Yeah, it's a possibility. Who knows?
I guess for us that aren't so creative, we could take these ideas and have someone fabricate them for us.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a lot of great ideas that are in here. So.
Yeah.
Well, John,
Great.
thanks for showing us all your mods. I appreciate it. You've really done a lot of cool stuff with the trailer.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing with us.
Great. Thanks, Johnny.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.